Hi everyone, Comics Companion welcomes you to another one of his comics reviews. I hope everybody is doing good. The book that I'm going to review today is one that released in the year 2020. I got to know about it last year and I read the complete story arc, and it was one of my favorite books of last year. And I'm pretty excited to talk about this book. So let me show you the book first. Yes, Something is Killing the Children. So this book was published in the year 2020. I read it last year and I really liked it. And I was thinking of doing a review of this book for quite some time now. So here it is. So let me first show you how the book looks like. Here's the title, Something is Killing the Children. You can see the artwork. It's kind of spooky. The creator's names here. So James Tynion IV, he's the writer. Werder del Edera, he's the artist. And the colorist is Miquel Muerto. So this book also received the award for the best series, the Eisner Award for 2020. Here it's mentioned volume 1, and I'll tell you what this volume 1 means. Let's look at the back cover. So here's a summary of the entire story that's covered in this book. It's the monsters who should be afraid is what is mentioned here. Here's a design which is basically the design of the mask which is worn by the protagonist of the story. And here are some blurbs, 3 of them, different websites and different media houses praising the book, the story and the treatment. Boom Studios, so this is the publication house. It's not a Marvel or a DC book. It's published by Boom Studios. So this is their logo, and here's the ISBN and the price, and in small letters it's mentioned teen 13 plus, if you can see. Okay, so this book basically covers 5 episodes or 5 issues of Something is Killing the Children. So up until now there are approximately, I think, 26 issues that have been published of this book, out of which 25 have been collected in collected editions. Every collected edition has 5 issues of the comic book. So, the reason why a volume 1 is mentioned here is this is one of the collected editions which has 5 issues of Something is Killing the Children. So this one basically collects issue 1 to 5, and I have got the rest books as well. This one is a volume 2. This basically covers issues 6 to 10, and this is volume 3, which covers issues 11 to 15. So these 3 books basically cover the entire story arc, and you can see how thick it is. And I'll try and show you the spine as well. So this is how the spine looks, guys. Pretty neat. I mean, unlike the Marvel and the DC ones. So if you try to keep it on the shelf next to one another, this is how it's going to look. So yeah, pretty consistent with the spine design. Now these 3 books, guys, have also been collected in one book format in a hardcover. So all 3 books combined form one book. It's got hardcovers. These are paperback editions, as you can see, and yeah, they call it the deluxe edition. So like always, I'll put in the purchase link of all these books in the description of the video. You can check it out from there. And before we dive in, guys, I would like to mention that there's also a volume 4 and a volume 5 that has come out. I have volume 4, but I still don't have volume 5. Volume 5 has been published very recently. I guess it's not been even a couple of months that it's been published. So I'm going to get it, yes. So volumes 4 and 5 collect issues 16 to 25. And let me tell you that is a different story arc. So it's more or less with the same characters, yes, but it's a different story arc. These 3 books combine to make one story arc. All right, so now let's talk about the story, the artwork, and other technical aspects of the book. In order to do that, I'll pick one of the books up and I'll keep the rest. Okay, so this is the one I choose to show you the artwork and the lettering and other aspects. So yeah, this is how it looks. The first page, the title, volume 1, published by Boom Studios. The names of the creators here. And instantly, the moment you open the book, you kind of get the feel of a movie. There's this vibe of a horror movie, and this basically is the page which is the opening credit scene. You can say the title of the movie comes up on the screen, pretty similar to that. In the background, I'm not sure if you can make out, but um, it's a picture of a jungle basically. This entire story arc is divided into 25 issues. These issues were most likely published monthly, and each issue has been mentioned as chapter in these collected editions. So when you finish one issue, you move on to issue 2, which is mentioned as chapter 2, and then again to a chapter 3 and a chapter 4. That's how it goes. So the story is set in a small fictional town called Archer's Peak, where children are going missing. The story starts with police interrogating one of the citizens of Archer's Peak. This is a guy called James. He's a school kid, and he's being interrogated because recently a lot of his friends have mysteriously disappeared. Enter the lead character of our story, Erica Slaughter. She works for an organization that hunts monsters, and she's in the town to do her job. Now, whether she's able to complete the task that she has set out to, whether she's able to solve the mystery of missing children, and what's the secret of the organization forms the crux of the story. Well, talking about the artwork, as you can see, is different from the conventional artwork that we are used to seeing in Hindi or English comic books. It's kind of edgy and grotesque at times. The colors are beautiful. This book, apart from a few smirky lines, is dead serious, and the artwork ensures that you get the feel of it throughout. The action is extremely violent, involving a lot of blood and injuries. Special mention to the colors of Miquel Muerto, which makes one uncomfortable when you look at some of the panels. Now, coming to the good and not so great things about this book. Well, the story, the setting, the characters, everything's brilliant. So there's hardly anything not to like in this book. Can't help but mention that while reading this book, you might recall the Netflix series Stranger Things at times. But even if you've watched it, this book is still worth a read. Now, coming to the things that are not so great. The lettering is kind of weird at places. I mean, the fonts are pretty small. Now, I'm not really sure if that was done intentionally, but yeah, some of the speech bubbles have fonts which are relatively smaller than the rest of the font of the book. So the consistency is not there. And the artwork, I've mentioned that the artwork is good, and yes, it is, but there are places when, it's really difficult to comprehend as to what is drawn in a certain picture. And this happens mostly where there's action. Now, while turning through the pages of this book, I realized that the lettering problem was in the second book. I didn't find any such issues in the first one, as far as I remember. Also, the artwork problem became more prominent in the latter volumes of this book. So let me flip through the other book, and I'll tell you what I mean. All right. So here's one example. I mean, if you look at the font here, this, and compare it with the rest, it's pretty small. Now, while looking at the speech bubble, I think they've tried doing it intentionally to create some impact, but it doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, if you want to make an impact through speech bubble or the lettering, then you can change the font style, but changing the font size, I don't know, but yeah, probably that's what they've tried to do. So when you look at this artwork, it's kind of difficult to understand what it exactly is. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it a little harder, then probably you can make out, but that's what I meant basically. And also there's something very interesting in this book. So this page, now if you look at this page, how do you read these two pages basically? So we'll start with the left page, I mean the page on the left hand side, and you'll start with the first row of panels. So you'll read these two panels, then you'll come down, you'll read the second row of panels and then the third. But that's not how you read this book. So if you see that, there's a third panel in the first row of this page, and this third panel is actually spreading over this page as well. So the way you read it is, this is panel 1, panel 2, and then panel 3, 4, 5, and then you go to the second row, and then again 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then again 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And this is not just here, guys. Let me tell you that this is on many of the pages of this book. And I was having a tough time reading these books, basically because we are not used to reading books in this manner. So it took me a while to figure out exactly how to read the book. And then again, I think it's not there in volume 1, but it's there in volume 2 and volume 3. So on a lot many pages, instead of reading all the panels on the page which is on the left hand side and then moving towards the right hand side, you will have to read the panels in one row all at once and then move to the next row. So that's how it is. All the books have cover gallery towards the end, so it says to be continued, yes. And yeah, there's the cover gallery towards the end. So these are the covers to all the issues. Now because this is volume 2 and it collects issues 6 to 10, so we'll have covers for issues 6 to 10 in this book. You see all the covers, including the variant covers as well. So this is a great extra for this book. Beautiful covers. So yeah, if you're looking for some scary read this spooky season, Something is Killing the Children is one book you should consider giving a shot. So that was my review. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thanks for watching.